Hi, I'm Jim, and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop. And we got some new things around the shop. And what I'm here for is I'm putting together a video on this Cyclone rake about the experience I've had using it. Now it's put together in several segments because I don't have a camera person. I got to try to move the camera around and do the best I can. But had an accident with it, and this is one of the caster pads that you snap the caster into, and you use this pin and one of these, they call them a butterfly catch or clasp or pin, whatever. I'm used to these style, which is, I've always called them a hairpin. Well, I was out in the woods dumping my bag, and apparently this is what it looks like when it's on the pin. Now you get 2 bolts in one of these with each pad for your caster. And these pins are typically what I run into when I work on a Craftsman machine. They are extremely hard to get off. They're a big pain in the butt, and they're pretty hard to put back on. You need 2 hands to do it. You got to push down on this side and spring that down and then try to pull it off. Where these things, they just pull off so easy. Well, please don't use these. One of these came off on me, and how that came off, I have no idea. And as you can see, it did a number on my bracket. It bent this out, and you can't get the pin in, especially with the caster in place. So I called them up, and I mean, whose fault is this? I would not think it's their fault. I mean, they gave me the clip. Did I put it in wrong? I doubt it. Did I catch it on something and pop it off? Apparently, but how, I don't know. So I called them up, I sent them some pictures, and I said, I don't know what you could do better than this, but I won't use this again. I put the 2 bolts in. Now, it's still quick enough to take the caster off without using this quick release pin, which was a good idea because the whole thing is built to quickly disassemble and assemble and store. Well, they apologized up and down for this, and they sent me a brand new one. I was not expecting that. I can probably take a torch to this and bend it back. Hopefully it won't crack where it was originally bent. But I could have redone it. They said, nope, don't worry about it, throw it away. We're going to send you a brand new one. Now this company keeps saying they're striving to be a 5-star company. Well, they're not even close to that. They never will be, because they're way up there around 8 or 9 or probably a 10. It's just the rating scale don't go that high. This place is, I've never dealt with a company like this. When I bought this thing and I ordered it, they said I have 1 year, 365 days to try this thing out from the day it's delivered, not when I ordered it. And if I don't like it, they'll take it back. And I believe, don't quote me, but I believe they told me they'll even pay return shipping. And they'll give me a complete refund, except for Michigan. After 90 days, when you return something in Michigan, the state does not refund your sales tax, which, is that legal? I don't know. But anyway, I don't know if you could go down to Walmart. Everybody has a Walmart. I don't shop there. I shop at Meijer's. But you could go down to Walmart and buy a $20 toaster. Use it for 1 year. Take it back and tell them, I don't like this. I want my money back. let me know what they tell you, because I'm pretty sure I know what they're going to say. This company, I cannot believe what they do for their customers. You get all the books you need. Now they have 5 different Cyclone rakes. They have the Classic, I'm trying to read this backwards. They have the Commander, Commercial Pro, XL, and a Z10. I have the XL. I dealt with a lady, her name is Joanne. If you're interested in one of these, get a hold of her. She is top notch. She knows exactly what you need. She'll ask you what your machine is, the width of the mower deck, and the brand, because some machines are not big enough to haul one of these things. In one of the clips I mentioned, I got mine put together and I put a scale underneath the tongue of it, and I had 117 pounds. That was without the battery for the engine, which is about another 10 pounds. So it's got some tongue weight to it. Then you get that bag full of leaves, and this thing is heavy. Now, some points I want you to watch. I bought the power unloader, because where the wife wants the leaves dumped from now on, it drops down off the yard and it goes into a swamp. I don't know what to call it. It drops down about 4 feet. Last year we walked down there and dragged tarps. I emptied the bags from the machine, and then you got to try to get back up the hill in all the slippery leaves, and it was just a pain. So I bought the power unloader. This thing, I was very hesitant about if it was even going to work, because I haven't seen any videos online of anybody using it outside of the company. It comes with a 15-foot hose. Now, that sounds like a lot until you get it hooked to your machine, which is away from the edge of the drop-off, and then you're stretched out there about, maybe 10 feet. But when this thing is blowing leaves out of the end of that hose, I'll say they're flying out of there a good 20 feet past the end of that hose out into the woods. This thing is amazing. I did my yard first. I did not use that. I dumped them on my old pile and just made it bigger. Next year I will use the unloader and blow them out into where my new pile is. But the only way you can get to it is to walk carrying these heavy bags and then dump them. It's probably a 15-foot drop off at a 45-degree angle down into this swampy low ground, and there's no way you can walk back up the hill. All you can do is walk to the edge of the drop off and dump the bags and let them slide down the hill. Next year I'll be able to blow them out there so they don't pile up as close to the edge as what they are now, because if you try to walk out to dump the leaves, you're in the fresh leaves you just dumped, and you'll sink up to your waist in them. This thing is really helpful. I tried unloading it by opening the back of the bag up, or the hopper, whatever you want to call it, and tried to suck them out of that. That didn't work. So I said, oh man, this thing is not what I want. So then they're packed in there too tight. So I put a piece of cardboard on the ground so I wouldn't be sucking up all the sand. And I dumped the bag on the ground. And this thing sucked them up and blew them out in the woods. It was amazing. Watch the video. It really is awesome. I can't remember what all I wanted to say. I don't use a script. But this book is very helpful. It's got all these little, I don't even know what you call them, but they're all separate assembly videos. So if you're putting one part of your Cyclone together and the instructions are not clear enough for you, which they're very clearly wrote, and they also have pictures of what you're doing and showing you how to do it. You had the videos. Excellent company. I cannot say enough about this place. The machine is very well built. I didn't have any trouble with it outside of this they call these a bridge pin or a butterfly pin. That came out, and within 2 days I had a new one of these in a box. I'll show you the box. Isn't this something? This is FedEx, folks. This is basically the way it came, only they kind of folded it up and they used some of their own clear tape and taped it all up. It's really pathetic on how they treat other people's property. I got 13 boxes of stuff and only one box wasn't damaged, ripped, dented, kicked. I don't know what they do to this stuff, but they need to get UPS instead of FedEx because they're just terrible. So watch the videos. I did the best I could on filming them, and let me know what you think at the end. And if you see my new item, let me know. We'll talk to you soon. So long. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, the most important part, I did my father-in-law's yard last year by myself because he was gone. And 2 or 3 years prior to that, I went over and helped him do his yard because it's just too big for one person, especially at his age. And we worked on it, or he worked on it, I'd say for about 2 weeks to clean this mess up. Sometimes a little longer. My wife asked me, you know, Dad never had one of them. Well, Dad never got anything done that he wanted to do because he was always out in the yard working on that huge yard. Either watering, mowing, fertilizing, or picking up leaves. So I tried it over there for the first time this year. And that 2 weeks that we took to do that yard, carrying them bags out, I did in 2.5 days. Unreal. That hopper is so big, it holds so much, it's just, and taking it out into the woods and using, if you've got the room to go out there and just dump it up like you're supposed to and drive away, you would have to have an area to do that, because each time you dump, you have to dump the next pile in front of that one. So it's going to start, your pile is going to move around, which I couldn't do. So I used the unloader. You may be able to drop a half a day off your time, because it does take a little time to empty that compared to tipping it up and driving away. But I think when it was totally full, it took me 5 minutes from start to finish, unhooking it, hooking up the power unloader, hooking up the vacuum tube, dumping them on the ground, sucking them up, blowing them in the woods, unhooking all that, and driving back up to the house. It was about 5 minutes. Now, I'll spend that 5 minutes all day long if I don't have to carry them stupid bags up and down that hill. That's just, I forgot to mention that. So keep watching and check out the videos. Okay, I'm done sucking leaves until the rest of them come down. But I've had so many comments on how big is this yard really? Well, let me walk you around it. You got a couple minutes? Hang on. Now this area back here, back where you see them larger trees, about 20 feet past them is the creek bed where the property line ends. And he usually sucks them leaves up. I haven't done that yet. I still have some to pick up once they all come down off the trees. Now this is an area back here that's probably about 100 by 75. and it's just, it doesn't use it for anything outside of more underground sprinkling and more mowing. Then here's his building. Now the other property line is straight north 660 feet. This is a square 10 acres, and half of it is lawn, I would guess. It's going to be a little shaky. I'm walking. There's wonderful hedges I have to clean out from under yet. We're going to go this way around this side of the house. Most of this whole area all has underground sprinkling. This is in front of the house. I would guess this is probably 100 by 50 front yard. Then you have the side yard. And all these wonderful branches hanging down that smack you in the head when you drive through. This is the backyard, and that goes, I'd say, a good 300 feet from this side over to where them trees are. There's a tree up here me and him cut down a few years ago and never got around to pulling the stump out. Now all the suckers are growing and the mother-in-law loves it. So once the leaves are all on it, you can't see the stump. These are some more hedges he planted in the garden to get them started, and then he moved them out by the side of the road, and he just never moved those. A couple of flowering pears trees, I think. He has 3 here and 1 over there that's for some reason just not letting go of the limb or the leaves this year. And the snowstorm we had on Halloween really snapped off a lot of trees. Now we're coming up to the edge of the yard. It's got a row of hedges down through here. Kind of try to keep the dust down, and the property goes about 20 feet past them before it hits the road. So this is the entire yard that we have to mow and pick up the leaves. Now since I got this Cyclone rake, I came over and helped him the last 2 or 3 years. It took us 3 weeks to pick all these leaves up. These just came down today. This was totally clean yesterday when I quit. And now we're over to the edge of the yard. Another view of the house from the back side. A couple old trailers that we wore out. She's got a guy who's supposed to be coming and getting all this stuff. There's the old little barn that we store stuff in. Over there you can see there's a row of grapes. Deer just loved them this year. And now we've got a little dip in the yard. But I'd say this is a good 300 feet across, if not more. And then this drops down. You do have to be careful with the Cyclone rake. You don't want to go sideways on a hill. You can't really tell by this picture how steep this really is. I'd say it's dropping down right here at probably about 40-degree angle. You can see some of the house from down here. This stays pretty wet down here. I noticed all the leaves I sucked up down here were pretty heavy, getting them out of that machine. At first I tried just opening the back up and sucking the leaves out of the machine with the unloader, but they're packed in there too hard. Here's behind the building again. Another angle or hill, I guess you'd say, that you have to be a little careful on. And this is where I drove out and dumped the leaves. This is all his place. There's a creek that goes down through here. So all this is pretty much low land you can't do much with. And there's the pile of leaves I blew out here this year. It's kind of hard to tell. It don't look like that's very deep, but I tried to walk in that yesterday and you sink up to your knees. They're just really in there fluffy from that blower blowing them in. This is all his place. You can kind of see a blue barrel through the woods. I'd say probably 150 feet back in there. That's the creek, and the barrel sits over top of his big pump that waters this whole place. But that's it. I would say you're looking at 660 feet by at least 300 feet wide, and from what I get off the line, that's bigger than 2 football fields. Here's a view down the hill and then out in the back. Well, I hope you liked the tour. I just wanted to really let some of the guys know how big this place really is. We're ready to get another load. I couldn't be happier with this. I don't know if you can really, well, the sun's going to be right in your face. I'd like to turn you around and show you the pile. It just kind of spreads it out. There's no big pile like we had last year carrying bags down here and tarps. This is just so much nicer. I'm going to see if I can get the camera out in the field and show you how well this thing picks up. Okay, I had to stop up here by the house and get my suction tube. I really like the way this works. There's one end. Now there's 2 reasons I take this off. One, it makes the machine narrower without the hose sticking out, and I can miss all them trees out there. And two, you have to take it off to use the power unloader because it has to hook up to the vacuum side of the blower. But even at my house, I didn't use that. I still had to take the hose off to get this thing out in the woods between all the rows of pine trees. So let's go out and pick up some leaves out there. Now, we'll suck up some leaves out here in the orchard. Take the chute off the machine and hook this discharge hose up. up the suction line. And we'll open it back up. Now, I'll show you how I suck them up, and then I'll show you how I discharge them out of the end of that hose out in the woods. Sorry about my outfit, but it's 29 degrees out here today, and we're supposed to get snow tomorrow, so today's the day.